it feels like things went kind of crazy in the pandemic. It feels like there was interest rates were low, people were overpaying for properties, there was like blind bidding, there was bidding wars, there was like madness going on. It was like a real frenzy where, places that were like 600,000 are now over a million, like seemingly like overnight. Like it just felt really intense and intimidating and crazy in that time for anyone who was looking to buy a property. And maybe that was a result of COVID and the work from home shift and interest rates and a bunch of other things. But now it feels very different from that in a short amount of time where it feels like, things are sitting on the market for much longer. There's properties that are selling for under asking or even less than they were purchased like a couple of years ago. I'm seeing more power of sales happening. Like, can you help me demystify what took us from that really big high and now to what feels like sort of more of a lull?
So I think there's a lot that has to do with it, of what brought us to this market. Um, Interest rates are a big one. I find interest rates going up, people's payments are going up. They're having to sell. A lot of people have to relocate because of the work from home is not work from home anymore. People are getting called back into the office. I think they also got rid of the foreign buyers. So that took a lot of people out of the market. Now they're even taking less students in our colleges and universities. So we're not having to house those people. I think there's so many, like even things going on in the US, people are losing their jobs because of tariffs and people are getting laid off and even just the economy in general, so many people are losing their jobs and I think people are scared and they're being more cautious now. And I think that has a lot to do with it as well in terms of like a slower market. Buyers are also more informed now. Um, the internet is very easily accessible, and market stats and solds are available to a regular buyer now. And I think, yeah, people are just moving a lot more cautiously.
It's almost like a cycle, right? Where like it went crazy and now it's sort of like in a lull. And it just, do you think it's going to go crazy again and lull again? Like, is that just the natural cycle of real estate, or are we in a different time right now?
So I do think we are going to have a more balanced market. Do I think it's going to get crazy like 2021? I don't. I don't. I think people have seen what happened to those people that have bought in that time. And a lot of people have, usually after 5 years, you have equity in your home. People don't have that right now.
Sorry, can
And
you just explain that? So, like having equity in your home, meaning you've paid into a mortgage that's paid off more than just the interest, right?
that's correct. And your property goes up in value as well, right? Whereas in this case, things are moving backwards. So say if you've paid off $100,000 of your home, but the value is, $200,000 less than what you paid for it. I believe people in the mortgage industry call it being underwater.
That sounds like an accurate descriptive description
Yeah,
of it.
people are underwater right now.
Right. And so if you're underwater and your mortgage is up for renewal, and you're now paying a higher rate than you did in 2021, that's where the problem arises because now you're paying a higher rate on a high price. Whereas before, when you bought it, you were paying a lower rate on a high price so you could manage it. But now paying a higher rate on a higher price, being underwater is causing a lot more people to sell. And tell me if this logic is making sense to you, is causing a lot more people to sell, and therefore there's a lot more properties on the market, and therefore there's that combined with the less demand is causing this kind of slump. Do you think that's an accurate sort of broad strokes picture of what might be happening?
So I think that there's more inventory on the market right now is because just things aren't, people aren't buying as much. So the supply and the demand, right? So there's no demand, so the supply is going up. I think that's why we have so much inventory. I don't think people are selling because, well, they are because they can't afford their mortgage rates anymore. I don't think that's a majority of it though. Um, in mortgage rates have come down quite a bit. They are low. Um, Not as low as they were during the pandemic, but they are pretty low right now. I don't believe that they're going to go down any further. Banks don't want to foreclose on homes. They don't want to take your home away from you. If you can afford the mortgage payment, even though you're kind of underwater, banks don't care. Just make the payment. They don't want your house. They want you to stay there. They just want you to make your payment. People just need to be into it longer, get along with your spouse because like divorce right now is if you need to sell a home is not a good situation to be in. Um, so I think, yeah, I don't think that mortgage rates are going to go down any further. I don't think prices are going to go down any further. Um, I mean, we're seeing people get back into the market because they're predicting interest rates to go up this year. When, I'm not sure, but they are saying that interest rates are going to go back up this year. So I think that's motivating a little bit more for people to come into the market now. So we'll see. I mean, nobody has a crystal ball and can tell you about the future, but economists are saying mortgage rates are going to go up this year. So if you want to lock something in at the rates that they're at now, would be a good time too. Um, and I mean, people that are selling right now, they're realistic and you do have negotiating powers as a buyer right now. So good time to buy.